Today I'm going to be playing an even hero power mage, given to me by Presidnet on Patreon. So Forged in the Barrens gave mage Mordresh Fire Eye, Reckless Apprentice, and Wildfire, all of which involve the hero power, and coincidentally, all of them happen to be even cost cards. And to go along with those, we also get to play Koldara Drake, Spirit of the Dragonhawk, Ice Walker, Garrison Commander, and Fallen Hero. So just a ton of stuff that can affect our hero power that still allows us to play Gen Greymane. And of course, when we're doing all this stuff with our hero power, it's good for us if it only costs 1 mana. It just makes it way easier to use.
Jaina versus Jaina.
You asked for it. Oh, it is on.
I think I mulligan everything that's not a spell with this deck. Book of Spectres is good.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
So I actually have a lot of options here. Probably just go for tempo and play a minion, and I think Loot Order is just a better card than Shimmering Tempest. Book of Spectres is definitely appealing, but it's a bit weird in this deck because the best card in the deck is Wildfire, which Book of Spectres doesn't hit.
An incredible discovery!
Hex Lord Malacrass. So that draws Koldara Drake, Reckless Apprentice, and Book of Spectres, right? It's a pretty good set of cards. Unfortunately, I'm probably up against Secret Mage, which is definitely going to be a rough matchup.
Hey, give me that!
I can take him. Wait, not all of them.
Okay. I thought there was a good chance of that being Explosive Runes, which is why I just instantly went for the 3/5 instead of considering Shimmering Tempest plus Book. The Book is also bad against some of the spell secrets. Well, unfortunately my hand is garbage, so kind of have to go for the Book here. Just a straight up counter spell, that's fine. Well, that's a good draw. I was just going to hang it over 2 turns and play Shimmering Tempest, but killing it straight up and not taking 4 damage is great.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Let's just see if this can stick. Alright, not runes or fair game. That's really good. Those are the 2 scariest by a lot. So I've seen a Cloud Prince already. This Koldara Drake should be pretty difficult to kill. And even if they can kill it, it takes up their whole turn pretty much.
I wonder.
And if they can't kill it, then it survives, and next turn I can clean up with Drake plus Fallen Hero. Looks like that might be what's happening. So I can hero power 5 times. That means I can't quite kill everything, but I can kill the 2 4/4s. Sure. Oh, Wildfire. I haven't checked this for counterspell, but I have seen a counterspell. Probably don't want to risk the Wildfire, because if it gets counterspelled, or even Netherwind Portal, then it's hard to clear the board. I have checked this for Explosive Runes, so we'll just go for those. I guess I could have checked for Flame Ward before playing Fallen Hero. It would have been an absolutely devastating Vaporize, but there's probably no world where it was ever Vaporize. Alright, second Cloud Prince down. Second Valet down. And I've only taken 4 damage. Wildfire's so good here. Unfortunate. I guess I just play the 8/8. Man, if the Wildfire went off, then that stuff would all be in range of my Spirit of the Dragonhawk next turn. Would have been so strong. I'm still in a good spot, though, because just this Frost Giant plus this Mordresh is lethal. Mordresh is a turn-off still, obviously. Still good, though. Malacrass doesn't really do a lot for me, so let's go for Mana Feeder Panthara. So I'm playing both of my spells here. Oh, I've seen both counter spells actually, so the order doesn't matter. There probably is another Wind Portal, but I have Frost Giant if it's something scary.
Amazing.
See now the power of the Dark Fallen.
4/4 isn't that scary, but it's a bit scary. What if I just go face for 8?
Time runs out on me.
My opponent's showing 7, I'd be dead to 10. I don't really know if I can die from 10, but I don't think I can ever die if I do this. Oh wait, I didn't play around rigged fair game here, that was the problem. So yeah, I should have gone face.
What once was cloudy shall become clear.
But, I don't know, even if my opponent drew 3... I don't know, with my opponent drawing cards, it's like not that likely for me to get the 8 damage in. But even just Mordresh on its own is probably lethal over 2 turns, right? Because it clears and then they have to somehow deal with a 10/10, which they're not going to be able to do. Alright, let's do a quick vape check. I think my opponent could be at 6 here, right? Probably doesn't really matter much. But I do think it was technically incorrect. I mean, I definitely could lose to, like, second block and then consecutive fireballs plus something else. Ah, yes, silver. Where the opponent just puts down their phone if they can't win anymore.
Jaina versus Magni. For Cosmodon.
You asked for it.
Star Scryer is great. I think I toss everything else. I could see a world where Ice Rager is good against, or Ice Walker, rather, is good against Pirate Warrior, but probably not.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Cthulhu Warrior, okay. Well, one good thing about my hand is I do have Mordresh for Malacrass, which against Control Warrior might end up being relevant. Definitely want to play Star Scryer before Book of Specters. 1, because it gets a spell out of my deck that the Book of Specters might overdraw. And 2, because tempo.
Armor! Armor! Lightly use armor!
Oh, another Star Scryer is beautiful. I'm definitely the aggressor in this matchup, so no reason for me to trade. Not really sure what I want to do this turn. I have a lot of card draw, 2 books, and probably a good chance I want Keysmith to hit Rigged Fair Game.
What to do?
Let's just go Wildfire and then dump the Spirit of the Dragonhawk. I'm pretty sure the Spirit will not be useful against Control Warrior. But I might be wrong about that. Wow. Okay. Actually, maybe I should have been thinking about my long-term Frost Giant game plan. I guess I couldn't have played it this turn either way. So, for each time you've used your hero power this game, this fires my hero power at all enemies. I don't actually know how this works with Frost Giant. Let's just see what happens when I play this.
Wait, not all of them.
Okay, that does work with Frost Giant. That's nice. And presumably if my opponent had minions, this would discount Frost Giant every time. I don't think there will ever be a board state where my opponent has too many minions, and I kind of just wanted to play that for tempo. I do have double Mordresh as a finisher this game, but chip damage is nice. Well, this is just Fallen Hero power for sure. And then I guess I play a Book of Specters along with it. Hopefully I don't overdraw my Wildfire. I might... Yeah, let's coin out Mana Feeder Panthara here, I think. Oh, beautiful. Now my last book never overdraws. Sure. So I think I'm always playing Wildfire and Hero Power, I guess, because it's an odd turn. So my options are Keysmith, Frost Giant, or double 2-drop. I don't really see why I'd ever play Reckless Apprentice over those options. Frost Giant does always get cheaper. If I play multiple small minions, that gives my opponent targets for the axe over a few turns. I'd probably be playing something small next turn anyway, though. I think I'm just gonna play 2/2s. Kuldara Drake is really good. My hero power does 3, so Kuldara Drake, even if it doesn't survive a turn, is 12 damage, right? That's really good. So yeah, I guess my other Kuldara Drake is also 12, and then as I said, I have double Mordresh. So I've got 44 damage? 12, 12, 10, 10. Plus all the chip damage I can get. I think my opponent might have a hard time surviving. Something like that does help them survive, but probably not enough. I think this is going to be a good Reckless Apprentice. 2 targets for Frost Giant. It's also just good here. Reckless Apprentice hero power kills.
I can take them. Wait, not all of them.
I don't know if I want to commit a Frost Giant to this board, though.
Hey,
Let's just play this. And the Frost Giant's gonna cost 0, so we can just play it whenever. Wonder if I should be concerned about my opponent having Reno. I haven't seen any dupes yet, and I've seen some kind of sketchy cards. Anchorman and Scrap Golem. It's kind of hard to imagine a wild deck having room for both of those. There's second Blade Storm though, so no need to worry. Bulwark I need to deal with. And it's not that easy to deal with, honestly. I picked up a Splitting Image. It's good with Shimmering Tempest, and it's good with Frost Giant in different ways. I have 9 cards in deck with Book of Specters. Probably don't need Rigged Fair Game this game.
Time runs out on me.
I don't know, I didn't really find something I loved this turn. Rattlegore is fine. Probably just freeze that. Freeze it and play again. Sure, why not? Do I want to freeze it? Hero powering this misses damage on face, potentially. Maybe I just Kaldara Drake here. I'm gonna have to hero power or put a lot of damage into the face anyway. If I Kaldara Drake, I can hit for 8. Seems like the play. And if my opponent tries to just attack into Kaldara Drake, then I have Splitting Image, which might be good. Yeah, this was good for sure. Good chance my opponent just dies to Mordresh next turn. I've been thinking this whole game about second Mordresh, second Kaldara Drake, but I might just not need either of those. Seems really hard for my opponent to deal with this board and heal for more than 2. Good value. Alright, Mordresh is easy lethal here. Zero health, 4 armor at the end. Alright, so I've played 4 games with this deck so far, and I'm 3-1, and I actually think I probably could have won the one game that I lost, so limited sample size, but we're performing pretty well so far. And I think most of the cards in the deck are performing pretty well as well. I like all of the things that say hero power, basically, and I like all of the card draw, which is pretty much the entire deck, but there are still a couple cards left over. In particular, that leaves us with these 2 copies of Shimmering Tempest, which I think just tends to be a pretty weak card overall. So there are a few things we could replace the Shimmering Tempest with. If you want a card with just a very similar effect, you can play Wandmaker, which I think is pretty much just better Shimmering Tempest. It's just a much more consistent, reliable effect. But we do already have plenty of 2-cost cards, so I don't think this card necessarily needs to be 2-cost. Something that looks pretty good to me is Varden Dawngrasp. Just a very solid card. And it's even got a bit of synergy with the Ice Walkers, so I think it could be worth trying. My instinct to fill the last slot is just a second copy of Arcane Keysmith, because it's a very good card. So this could potentially just be our 30 card list. But there are some other things we could look at. Jandis is just a very good card. She could go in the place of this other Keysmith. But with as much card draw as we play, I would like to keep the curve pretty low, which I think is something this deck has done well so far. So I don't know if I want to add a 6-drop. A nice cheap card for this deck might be Astromancer Solarian. We don't play any spells that benefit from the spell damage, but the death rattle on this card is really strong, and we play enough card draw that we can hit Solarian Prime pretty consistently, so that could be pretty good. I actually think Astromancer Solarian could maybe be a good replacement for Hexlord Malakras. Malakras is probably going to be more value on average, but it's just so inconsistent. Sometimes we can whiff. And I did play a game against Control Warrior where I just didn't need this card. So I think Malakras might be too much. Might be nice to just have a Solarian Prime in the deck. If the Astromancer Solarian isn't good, I still think I probably would look at playing Jandis over the Malakras, or even maybe Lich King over Malakras. I don't know if that card is good, but it does a very similar thing to Malakras and is better tempo. And then, of course, there are all kinds of tech cards we could get into. We could play, Dirty Rat or something like that. But I think for now it makes sense to just stick to some good cards.
Jaina versus Khadgar.
We have a nice Mage opponent.
You asked for it.
Oh, and we have a Wildfire off the mulligan. Very nice. Wildfire can get counterspelled in this matchup, but I'm still very happy to see it.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Wildfire into Reckless Apprentice is really nice. Although most of the minions in that deck do have 3 health, I think. So, drawing another Wildfire this turn would be very welcome.
An incredible discovery.
Okay, it does appear to be Secret Mage. Let's just hero power this twice and not take 2 damage from it. This Ice Walker sticking here is also pretty insane with Reckless Apprentice and Spirit of the Dragonhawk. Reckless Apprentice is quite good here. Sure, I'll just play Reckless Apprentice. And I guess we will check for
I can take 'em.
Flame Ward.
Hey, not all of them.
It was not Explosive Runes. If I knew for sure that it wasn't Explosive Runes, I might have gone Loot Hoarder plus Hero Power last turn. But if I played Loot Hoarder and took 5 damage from it, that would have been very sad. Well, there's a good chance that's a spell-based secret. Although I guess it could still be rigged fair game. Let's just play Book of Spectres and see what happens. Okay, it's Netherwind Portal, but that's fine. Oh, that's annoying, actually. But generally it's pretty fine, because I'm just going to do this. I guess I do need to attack into this, though, otherwise my opponent can steal my Ice Walker, which is annoying. So Spirit of the Dragonhawk pretty much always lives here. It might actually always live, I don't know if that Mage deck can kill it. So I can freeze the opponent's board again, and then I can freeze the following turn with Varden as well. Okay, they just concede to the Ice Walker Spirit of the Dragonhawk combo. That is pretty nasty.
Jaina versus Thrall.
Fear the coming storm.
You asked for it.
Book of Spectres we like to see. Astromancer Solarian is pretty reasonable as well.
We have turned our curse into our strength. Glory to the Horde!
The last time I played against Shaman, they coined out Underbelly Angler, and I didn't kill it until like turn 5, so this is already going better. I mean, that seems like a hero power, right? Maybe I should have just traded Astromancer Solarian since I have double book in hand.
Let the pain speak to me.
Astromancer seems pretty good into that, though.
I will crush your delusion.
I don't know what all this card draw means. Shudder Walk?
I salute you.
Who's up for an adventure?
Finley. Oh, it's probably Finley plus the thing that swaps hero powers, so it can actually beat, Priest. I guess I will play Book of Specters.
Planets and stars! Power for the taking!
Alright, so the Starscryer always draws Wildfire, which is really good. Especially since I have Reckless Apprentice in hand already. And Reckless Apprentice is really good when I have double Frost Giant.
Repeat that? Could you repeat that?
My opponent is doing some stuff over there.
I'll write that down. I'll write that down.
Mind if I roll me?
I'll just do this, and then next turn I'll go Fallen Hero plus Apprentice. Plus double Frost Giant. So yeah, my next turn is going to be insane. I actually don't really know if the Shaman deck can deal with that. Maybe freezes on the Giants. Oh, another Wildfire.
I can take 'em. Not all of them.
Reasonable turn 6. If I assume that I have time to play this Starscryer and the Wildfire, then Kaldara Drake does 12. Wait, what is this? Wow, sick combo.
You fight well, friend.
That was just sad. Alright, well, I assume that was a Shudder Walk thing, but my turn 6 was too good, they didn't get a chance. Alright, I played a bit more with this deck, and I was still winning games, managed to stay above 50%, so seems like a pretty reasonable deck. The changes I made were pretty minimal, but I think they were good. The Varden performed well, and I think Keysmith is just a good card. I also included the Astromancer Solarian, which is a bit of a sketchier include in the deck, but I certainly didn't miss the Shimmering Tempests or the Malacrass. I considered playing a big card to replace Malacrass, like a Jandis or a Lich King maybe. But the more I play this deck, the more I really just want it to have as low of a curve as possible. So in that sense, I'm happy that I went for the Astromancer Solarian. But I think this could maybe be, I don't know, maybe a Wand Maker would be the best inclusion. You could also play something more defensive, like a Plated Beetle or maybe a Bone Wraith. Something like that, but I didn't really feel like I needed any of that stuff. You could play like Galaka Crawler, but I didn't see too many pirate decks. What else is there? Like Dirty Rat or something. Eater of Secrets. There was a period where I was playing against a lot of mages, but it fell off a bit. See, I definitely think this is a flex slot. And if you find a card you like, you could maybe even cut the other Keysmith for a second copy of it. I think this seems pretty reasonable. I actually don't know what the 1-mana spell pool in Wild looks like. But they generally seem powerful enough that Wand Maker should be a good card. So yeah, I didn't really find any other cards I wanted to cut. I think all of the hero power cards pull their weight. Card draw is good. So just a pretty well built deck, I would say. Only flex slots really being the Wand Makers and maybe the Keysmith.